Welcome to this video on our February Fallin for Fitness Ab Challenge. There are 5 exercises to be performed 2 rounds through, and I'm going to demonstrate each exercise with modifications if you need them. If you participate in this challenge for the 28 days of February, your name each day is going to get entered into a drawing for one of our 2 prizes, either a TRX home system, that's TRX, amazing piece of equipment, one of my favorites, or a $100 gift card to Nike. That both prizes were donated to us by generous donors in our community. So the 5 exercises I'm going to demonstrate, I will show you a modification that you can also perform in case that version doesn't work for you. Now, if you do this circuit 2 rounds through, that counts as 1 time or 1 entry into our drawing. If you perform this ab circuit multiple times throughout the day, then that's multiple entries into our drawing. So if you really want a TRX home system, or you really want to work towards that $100 gift card, or you really just want to be an overachiever and just have fun with this, feel free to do this as much as you'd like and let us know that you've completed it. I will be posting a post each day of the month of February so that you can tell us that you've completed the circuit. And then from there, I'm going to write down everyone's name to make sure that everybody is on our list for the prizes. And if you would like to participate, but you do not want a prize, you can let me know that as well and just participate in the fun, but not the prize portion of it. So anyways, without further ado, here are 5 ab exercises. I'm only going to demonstrate and I'm going to show a modification without going through all the repetitions. So the goal is for you to do each of these exercises 15 reps 2 rounds through. So I'll explain this again at the end, but let me just first start by showing you the first exercise. Exercise number 1 is dead bug. Exercise number 2 is twisted mountain climbers. Number 3 is our bicycle. 4 is low plank knee taps. And 5 is single leg crossover crunch. So the dead bug, you start on the floor. We're going to bring the knees into the chest. We're going to create this sort of pressure between the hands and the knees to really engage the lower part of your abs and really all across the midsection here while maintaining a good and safe position for your lower back. This is a great exercise to do even if you have back problems. This is one of those more therapy type exercises, but also is a difficult one when you're really putting the right amount of pressure on your thighs. So come on your back. We're going to kind of wiggle around a little bit to make sure we got our back in a flat position, just to make sure that we're tucking the tailbone, engaging the core, and then you're gonna push your legs out. So notice how I have my knees in like this, taking my hands, flexing my feet, and I'm pushing my legs out, but I'm fighting that push with my thighs, or with my legs here. So basically there's a pressure that I'm pushing here with my hands, and a pressure that I'm pushing in with my knees. And by doing so, it's almost like fighting, we call it like a thigh fight. It's almost like fighting that pressure, but what happens here is I start to feel this shake. So even this, just this hold, is enough to work your midsection. Now we're going to take it one step further and do the dead bug. I didn't name the exercise, so it is a funny name, but what it means is that you're going to take your same arm and same leg, and this is a version of it without any other exercise equipment. Sometimes we do opposite with equipment, but for our purposes, we're doing it same side. Hands on thighs, press into the knees, knees press into the hands. I'm going to take my left hand and my left knee and go away from center, and then bring it back in. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And you're going to do this 15 times each side. So it's going to be a total of 30 for the movement. Now this one doesn't have a modification because that is the most basic modified version of that movement. Not to say that it's easy, basic does not mean easy, but you're gonna really feel this as long as you're putting enough pressure on your hands and your thighs and your knees pushing into your hands and then bringing that same side away from center. Okay, next one is twisted mountain climbers. So exercise number 2, we're gonna come into a plank position. Now this one, 2 things to think about. 1, you wanna make sure that your wrists, elbows, and shoulder are in alignment. 2, we wanna make sure that we have a straight line from the tip of the head down to the tailbone, creating a space for your back to be in a tucked, or really the hips to be in a tucked position, but for your back to be in a safe position. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm going to cross over. So I'm going to take my right knee and go to my left elbow. And then I'll take my left knee and go to my right elbow. It's a crossover mountain climber. So as I get in position here, I want to make sure that I've got good traction on my shoes, or if I'm in bare feet, make sure that I'm on a portion of the floor that isn't going to slide, or I'm on a mat. And as you come up into this position here, check in with yourself. Check in to see that your hips are even. Check to see that you've got even position with the shoulders. And you're going to take right elbow to left knee. Left to right, right to left. 15 times each side. Now, if this is too much and you have had knee surgery or back surgery and it's just too much with the motion, then for you, I would say you can just hold this position. So just hold this position and just count 1, 1, 2, 2, as if you were doing the movement with your legs, but you're just holding this position. Now you can also come down to the knees for this one. Make sure that you've got a lot of padding under the knees, but you can also hold this position in the knees and just do a extended meaning arms plank with the knees down and the toes down on the floor. If you want to do the mountain climber version, but you find that your feet keep slipping down and your abs aren't strong enough to hold your feet in towards your hips, then you can put your feet up against the wall and just again hold this position. You may be able to bring your knees in from there, but know that it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult if your feet are up against the wall to do that. Okay, so those are all the modifications for that ab exercise. Now the next one is bicycles. You're coming down on your back again, so we're kind of flip-flopping back and forth between your back and your arms. And as you do this one, you come on your back, get it again in a safe position, tuck the tailbone, really engage your lower abs, and we're going to place the hands behind your head. So what I want you to do is first lift up a little bit so you're getting your shoulder blades off the mat, and you're using the upper part of your core to lift your body up. You're not pulling at your neck or pulling at your spine, you're really lifting. So notice the difference. This would be pulling at my neck, like I'm really pulling here, or the difference is I'm pulling up using my abs. So you can kind of see what that looks like. All right, now I'm going to take my right elbow to my left leg while I straighten my right leg. My right elbow to my left knee as I straighten my right leg. So it's going to look like this. Cross over and cross over. Do this nice, slow and controlled. If you start to feel your lower back pop off the floor or just get into a position where your hips untuck, then you want to make sure you're checking in and pulling it back in, engaging your abs and slowing it down. If you're going too fast, then sometimes we can get a little wonky and then it can pull at the lower back. So just really focus, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And if you're in our group and it's too much to straighten out your legs, you can do this motion right to left, left to right. It's a twisted crunch in that way. So that way you're still getting the motion, but if it's too hard to lower down the leg, then that's another option or modification for you. So that's the bicycle. Exercise number 4, we're coming back into our plank position. This time we're in low plank, so on the elbows. Elbows and toes, and we're gonna do what's called a knee drop. And this one is slowly becoming one of my favorite exercises for the core because it really works. I mean, every single portion, even though this is technically one large muscle, you can really feel it in upper, you can feel it lower, you can feel it on the sides. So holding this plank position and then dropping the knees down for a count of 15. Elbows and toes, here like this. Check in with your back, make sure that you've got your hips level. We're not like wonky off to the side here. And then you're just gonna drop the knees. Tap, 1, 2, 3. I'm squeezing my quads, pushing my knees back up, and really engaging my lower abs. So in this case, if that's too much, again, if you've had knee surgery or in general, just flexing the knee doesn't feel good for you, just hold a plank. Just hold that plank and hold this position without moving the knees at all. Or you can drop down to the knees and hold the plank this way. So that's another version of it, as long as you've got enough cushion or padding under the knees. But the version that we're gonna go with without the modification is the knee drop, the first one that I showed you. The last exercise we're gonna do is the single leg crossover crunch. So you're on your back again, and you're going to again find that safe position for your spine. Then you're gonna lower your feet down, okay? So here, you can notice if my back was arched, you can kind of see this here, there's lots of space. So I want to just bring the back down, engage the abs, and then watch what happens, this little tilt, like tuck, you can kind of see that in my hips going from down up. That little movement is really protective for your back. So hold the tuck portion of that, and also it really uses your lower abs. So now we're gonna straighten out. So I've got straightening out my left leg, and I'm gonna bring my left hand onto my side. The first version of this exercise that I'm gonna show you is by taking the arm up, and we're gonna use the elbow or the hand to lift the body completely up to meet in the middle. So you can see I'm on my elbow here, lifting up, and then lowering down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, just to kind of show you how it goes. So that is the first version of this exercise. Now, if you are having a hard time really getting up and your abs are not quite strong enough to do the motion that I just did, you can modify this by just keeping your body on the floor and just lifting your head and shoulders off the floor, and then bringing the leg to meet your hand, and then lowering down slowly, and then again repeating. So this is the modified version of this exercise. This doesn't require any pressure on the knees. This one is safe for pretty much everybody. And what you can do is, if you need to make it harder, you wouldn't put your elbow down on the floor. You would just go straight up, no elbow on the floor. Okay, so there's really 3 versions of this one. The one that we started off with was with the elbow down, opposite hand to leg. The second version was just staying, so this is the modified, staying on the floor but meeting in the middle, because you're still using those lower abs and upper lever here. And then the third version, the hardest version, would be no elbow down and just your hand on the floor. So those are a couple different modifications that you can do. So remembering, the first one is dead bug. Second one we did those twisted mountain climbers. Third was bicycles on your back. Fourth, low plank knee taps. And 5, we did the single leg crossover crunch. If you have any questions, need any help with anything, let me know. Again, you're performing each of those exercises 15 times, so 15 repetitions, 2 rounds through. So you'll go 5 exercises, then the 5 exercises again. It should take roughly between 5 and 10 minutes, closer to probably that 7, lucky number 7. And once you've done it, you're going to comment in the post for the day and say, I've completed this. Let me know if there's anything else that you need from me. Have fun with this. I can't wait to see you all on the mat.